I worked in psychology for 5 years. I've seen hundreds of patients and practiced thousands of hours of clinical psychology, and it fucking sucked. I did not enjoy the job. I didn't enjoy it at all. There were parts that I did enjoy, but for the most part, it was demoralizing. It was depressing. It made me feel stuck, and I got extremely burnt out, not just in the job, but on life as well. It truly changed how I look on the world. But before we get into it, my name is Alex. Today I'll be telling you guys how I worked in the military as a psychiatric technician for 5 years and the experiences that I had and how I think it has affected me. And if you like these types of videos, well, I do one of these every Monday. I find some topics that I find interesting and talk about them on Wednesdays. And on Fridays, I upload just gameplay. So if that sounds interesting to you, then leave a like and subscribe to the channel. But with that out of the way, let's get into it. So let's start with the good times. I know I just rambled there. I probably sounded like XQC, but anyways. Let's start with the good times, because the good times started right when I got to my first unit, to my first duty station. You know, the doctors were great. They seemed like they genuinely cared for the patients that they were seeing. They were having general plans. They were doing specific things for specific patients. And it wasn't cookie cutter. It wasn't cookie cutter is what I'm trying to say. While a lot of patients could have been cookie cutter, no, these doctors that I worked with were passionate about what they were seeing and what they were doing. And that's probably what it honestly boils down to. Now that I'm thinking about it and making this video, it was probably a lack of passion, but you'll understand later here when we get to the bad parts. And with these doctors, I felt accomplished. I felt like I was helping people. I feel like I was making genuine change for others. And I was actually able to do something as a psych tech, because I also took part in their care. I also took part in doing what the doctor did for their therapy or whatever it is that they had planned. The doctors were great. You know, we used to take days off from the clinic, and it was fine because our patients were doing well. And we would go out into the desert, and we would set up targets, and we would have what we called a morale day. We would go and shoot stuff, set up targets, shoot stuff, and just have a grand time as each other. Because when you work psych, you need something. You need an outlet. You need something to get your mind off of it, and remember to stay connected to your peers. Well, as everything does with time, that changed. The team changed. The team that I originally met when I got into my unit, that worked together to really build up the reputation and trust of the Oscar team, which stands for Operational Stress Control and Readiness. We worked very hard to get the trust up, because the team before us, what they would do is they would see somebody, label them as adjustment disorder, and kick them out. And it took a lot of effort to change that perspective on the team. So the new team came in. First, it was the psychologist left. We were without a psychologist for about 6 months, and then this new psychologist came in, and our psychiatrist was holding it down and took over the patient load of the psychologist until the new doctor came in. And once the new doctor came in, he was also taking on patient load. He was learning how to lead the team, because he was going to take over team lead since the psychiatrist was leaving and we were getting a new psychiatrist. Well, when the psychologist came in and the psychiatrist left, so this means it was just down to 3 people, another psych tech, myself, and the psychologist. A lot of the psychiatric patients, they came in for their therapy and were continuing it, and getting the medicines from their primary care management, which is their doctor, their physical doctor, because the psychiatrist told them how to regulate the stuff for the patients. And that's a lot. That's a lot of patients and stuff like that. But they were taken care of for a time being. Eventually, those same patients came back and they told me that they didn't feel like they were getting taken care of by the psychologist. They weren't really being taken serious, and he didn't really seem to have his heart in it. So these guys, they came here and where they were receiving care and genuine care, they were no longer receiving genuine care. They were getting a wannabe corpo guy that was just kind of in the military for the money and for the job. You see, this doctor wasn't passionate. I asked him before as well. I've asked all the doctors that I worked with, would you do would you do this again? Like, if you had to go back in time, would you choose this? And the first psychologist I worked with said yes. The psychiatrist said he would stick in medicine, but he doesn't know if he would choose psychology again or psychiatry again. And this psychologist said, no, I'd probably go be a businessman and work in sales. So that told me something as well about his character. Is he was about numbers. I mean, he wanted to be a businessman after all. Businessmen are about numbers, are they not? I'm saying this as well as I also have a business degree, but yeah. So he was about his numbers. And he even boasted to me before that he said, you know, these guys that come in here, I don't mind just kicking them out. I'm like, why? Don't you feel like you should try and help them? And he goes, I mean, not really. I'm like, well, what'd you do at your last base? Didn't you work with SEALs? And he goes, yeah, I would just kick them out. And I just kind of stared at him. Like, you just kick out Navy SEALs? Like, no problem? Those people are hard to replace, man. And, yeah, he just would kick out literally anyone. So all that work that we did with the Oscar team, this guy just immediately started dismantling it and bringing it down. Then came the psychiatrist. The psychiatrist did have different viewpoints on things. He did. He was from Africa, and he viewed things very differently. He told one patient that the reason his marriage is failing is not because of his depression, and anxiety, or why the reason why he is depressed and anxious is because he doesn't have a relationship with God, and if he wants his marriage to not fail, he needs to have a child. That is a whole lot of something that I feel like I need to break down, and I just don't have time for it in this video. So you couple that with this new psychiatrist that came in, and he started also taking people off of their meds that have been working for them, that have been doing really well, and he just did not give a fuck. He didn't care at all. He even texted me one morning. I'll never forget this. I thought it was the craziest thing, because how in the fuck does somebody do this in the military? He texted me one morning and he said, hey, I'm coming in late. I should be in at 9 or 10 in the morning. Mind you, the clinic opens at 8. And I'm going for a hike. I just replied, okay. Because as an enlisted, there wasn't shit I could do. I told my psychologist, and my psychologist did not give a fuck either. So I was like, okay. So all these patients that I've been seeing for years, I basically had to tell them not to come back because you're not going to get taken care of. It was fucking demoralizing. It fucking blew. And I know this isn't every experience in psychology, but when you have dispassionate people for working in a job that they don't give a fuck about, you're just going to get shit. I don't know what other word to put for that. You're just going to get shit. These people, these doctors that I worked with were working for numbers, and you can't do that in medicine, I believe. And this really burnt me out. And after hearing story after story after story of a lot of young kids or even older men that have fought for us and gotten PTSD and stuff, and they just got tossed to the wayside. I mean, it really burned me out, man. I heard stories of how these people reacted to things, or like how they can't connect to their family now or whatever. And I literally just had to sit there and listen and couldn't do a thing. I gave all my sympathies that I could, and now after working in that clinic and working with these doctors and being just made like little, making it so my contributions to that team and what I did had zero impact. I'm numb. I'm genuinely numb. I don't know. Like, it is so hard for me to feel empathy or sympathy for things now. And it's not like anyone's fault. Like, if I hear a story about someone and something really fucked up to them, I just say unfortunate, because I truly don't know how to feel, because I don't feel anything anymore. And what I mean by that is I don't feel as connected to people that I don't know anymore. But when it does come to people that I do care about, I am able to experience a wide range of emotions and be angry or upset or happy and excited and things like that. Just not to the same level that I was once able to before. And it's kind of fucked. And I have talked to people about this before. I have. And I guess at the end of it, I'm just a product of an environment that I worked in. So with that said, remember to give yourself a morale day. Remember to give yourself some alone time to be internal and to learn about yourself. So that way you can see if you're burning yourself out or not and catch it earlier than I was able to. And remember to disconnect from what is making you feel down and try to connect with those around you that you love. And remember what truly matters in life. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and today's experience. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Peace.